You're listening to Scheduling Sin with me, Snow MILF.
I have so many people that say, I'll do it when I lose weight. I'll do it when I do it when I that. And I'm always like, no, we're going to do it right now. I can't make this up.
Question.
Yes.
What the hell is an anal hook? Message says big bed check mark.
Yes. And I'll be like, yes, bitch.
Well, so we finally did it.
You're like a kid in a candy store right now.
Totally
I'm so excited to see his face right now. I can't even stand it.
Yeah, it's so we are here. We just finished our lovely boudoir shoot.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I think he was just basically panting in the corner the entire
Small
just drooling. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I had a lot of fun.
It was. So we've kind of brought you this far as the day goes, but to do it officially, we are here with Bridget with B. Yates Photography in Columbus, Ohio. And we're in her studio and we just got done and it was
she is amazing.
Bless you guys.
Oh my gosh. It was so much fun.
Yay.
And there's not a lot of places that you can just feel naked or you can just feel 100% comfortable being very naked.
Right.
Like very naked.
No, but it was pretty naked.
It was pretty naked. So
there's a lot of things that,
I was naked.
So a lot of our audience has asked a lot of questions about boudoir photography. I don't think a lot of people have actually done it yet.
Okay. But why?
Well, that's a very good question. So
can you just tell us a little bit about like what your experience has been doing this and what you tell people when they come in? And
I have so many people that say, I'll do it when I lose weight. I'll do it when I do it when I that. And I'm always like, no, we're going to do it right now because it's either you're going to love it or you hate it. And I have never had a person hate it yet. Yeah. So overall, you do it for you. And that's the big picture. Do it for you. Do it to hype yourself and feel good about yourself. And overall, like I said earlier, like the experience in general is just what makes me happy. I could care less about the rest of it. I want you to feel good when you leave here.
Yeah.
So walk us through a boudoir shoot. I mean, we just did it, right?
Yep.
Tell us what it's like.
So before I even get you here, I am prepping you. I'm telling you, I want to see what you're bringing. I talk about the outfits, how many you should bring. Sure. We talk about body types and what you do and don't love. I know you were very open about being nude and I'm like, cool, let's do it. If that's how you feel comfy, I want to know about it ahead of time so I can make sure that I pre-prep my brain to shoot those types of things. I'm completely here for all of it. I love to hands-on to speak with all of my clients, even if it's over a cup of coffee. Most people opt to text, but whatever. None of it has ever been lost in translation. So when you get here, we meet, we greet, we dump your bag all over the floor.
And that very much happened. I'm like politely pulling out a piece and she's like, no, just dump it on the ground. Just dump it. I'm like,
I want to see everything you brought.
All the things.
Yep. And I want to talk about every piece and then we can match your makeup and your hair and go along with what you've brought. I want to see all of it because then I can look at you and hold it up and say yes, no, and then pinpoint like a ping pong ball like we did. Right. Which piece of, lingerie is going to go with what furniture I have
prop
here.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
sure.
So chairs, bed, tub, couch, all the things. Yeah. So overall, that's it. I start to finish. You're my best friend now.
Yeah.
That's
she's seen some stuff.
Absolutely seen some stuff. So what, for a person who's never done this before,
sure,
they're going to come and you're unique in the sense that you are in the lifestyle also. Sure. We have done a boudoir photography shoot before and we have noticed that your style, being in the lifestyle, you are far more sex friendly than most boudoir photographers. And I think that's kind of a pretty important distinction because I think a lot of boudoir photographers are not comfortable with nudity and those kinds of things.
It's all very implied. The last boudoir shoot I did, I was actually clothed. It wasn't really a boudoir shoot. It was more of a pinup shoot.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it was fun. Yeah. And we had a lot of,
it's not the same.
It was not the same.
No, not the same. I want to get to know you for who you are and how you feel good sexually. Yeah. Because not only is it throwing on some sexy clothes, but like you are going to unleash that.
Well, there's an attitude to it.
Yes,
100%. Yeah.
There's absolutely an attitude to it. And I'm always like, okay, hey, I hate to be disrespectful, but are you the top or the bottom? And like, I feel like only me as a lifestyle friendly photographer and also living it, that like I can say that and they can respectfully.
I feel like that really helps.
It does.
It breaks down that wall.
The wall goes away immediately and then we're all naked. Not me, but like, don't get me wrong. I have done group shoots where I have also had somebody take my photos and I'm in lingerie with them. But like, everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. And you know what? Like I've done shoots where people have brought like props, anal hooks, fucking like, I can't make this up.
Question.
Yes.
What the hell is an anal hook?
It looks like a fish hook. And then it goes, boop, it's got a bulb on the end of it. And then you can use rope and bondage.
Wow.
And it's actually very lovely.
Oh.
I think it photographed really well. Like,
is it like a metal or plastic?
Yeah, it's metal.
Okay,
it's metal.
Okay.
It looks just like a big fish hook. I've done spreader bars, belts, whips, all the things. Like,
I mean, you gave us some great tips on strap-ons earlier.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of people you can have this conversation with when you first meet them.
Hey guys, I strive to make everybody feel 100% comfortable sexually, and I feel like that sort of trickles into what ends up happening, and they're more natural and comfortable, and I'm getting
that translates.
Yes,
it absolutely does,
yeah.
and that's one thing I was going to say is if I think everybody should come here and come to you because I think within our audience, I think you're a lifestyler, so you get it.
Big picture. Bring your third. Bring your fourth. I don't care.
Right, and that is so special. And that's honestly, we came several hours to see you because of that.
I'm touched,
right?
Like truly.
Because I mean, there are plenty of boudoir photographers right in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
but they're not this.
No.
So I guess my question is, what is it? I've heard the term erotic boudoir.
Yes.
And I've heard boudoir. Like, what's exactly the difference?
So the erotic scene is the actual act. And I will let you, like, I will lead you into how I would like you to dress and how I want you to get started, and then photograph you naturally from start to finish during the sexual act.
Okay.
It's a whole different ball game. There are waivers involved. It's low-key like shooting porn.
Well, I was going to say, I imagine that's kind of where people, like, I wonder if there are just this mentality of boudoir as kind of more of an art and kind of very implied and sexual or sexy, but not
penetration.
Right. But like, then there's like, I don't want to shoot porn. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a very fine line when it comes to that. And I've only done a handful of them, but like, I'm going to tell you, some of the images are no different, honestly, than what we just did here.
Sure.
Less penetration. I mean, and honestly, you can only take so many of the same angle. All right. Like, I've seen your penis 3 times now. That's good enough for me.
She saw a lot of me.
Yeah.
I've seen it all before.
I didn't realize that I had only brought crotchless panties.
But you know what's funny about it is so I'm going to call you out a little bit on this.
Oh, here we go.
When we were leading up to this during the week, you had said, I'm going to bring some laundry and stuff, but I'm not going without my panties. I'm not going without that. And I think today, both of us, within about 5 minutes, were really comfortable not wearing anything.
And part of that, I think, is it speaks to our lovely photographer, but it also just speaks to, I mean, even the studio, even the space.
It's just chill, right?
It's very chill, but it's very, it's warm. It's welcoming. It's not anything it's not like bright light studio.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, not at all. And so I will say this, Bridget and I have been talking quite a bit.
They were already best friends.
Yeah,
and
besties.
just typical of Mr. Sno, when he has conversations with people that I'm not aware of, they've seen a lot of things on me and parts of my body that I
like to show you off.
So despite the fact that our lovely photographer Bridget saw like all of the things today during our shoot, I feel like she'd already seen most of it. Is that correct?
It's a little bit. I mean, not a whole lot.
He was. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Yeah. No,
so
don't call me.
Timid,
no, he's not. Mr. Sno is not timid, first of all.
I've seen a little bit more of other people. Like,
but I love how you call me out, but I'm going to call you right back.
Okay. But where I'm going with this, though, is I think it is amazing how fast that comfort level
absolutely
goes into place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, and honestly, you have everything to do with that. I mean, it's the space and it's you and it's that comfort level that, let's just do weird stuff,
I'm about weird shit.
And obviously, and it so helps though. It's not awkward. It's not weird. It's not, hey, let's not do this or that or the other thing. It's really natural. But I realized something. I kind of answered a question for myself today, we talked about this in the car on the way here. We even talked about it a little bit here when we started, was Bridget has been very adamant that I'm going to be in some of these pictures.
Yeah.
And I all week have been like, oh,
they are fire.
I don't
They are.
I don't know.
Really good.
But and even in the car, we talked about this. Like as a male,
Right.
as a male, because it would never dawn on me to do boudoir photography of myself.
Doesn't
Boudoir, that's what she calls it.
Yeah.
Boudoir, yeah. Like it would never occur to me.
does.
And I was asking Mrs. Sno in the car, I know exactly what kinds of things I want to see of you in pictures. What on earth do you want to see of me? And I think I figured it out today.
And what's the answer?
Well, all of the pictures we did with me and them were not pictures just of me.
Right.
They were pictures of us together. And I get that. I get that because they were intimate pictures of you and I being intimate together.
Right.
And I'm like, oh.
But at one point we got that look from him and you're
yeah.
like blurred. You can't even see you.
Right.
You know you're there.
Right.
But his face.
Right.
Woo.
Right. And so when you ask me, what is it that I want to see? I want to see your reaction to me.
Well, that's
like, I want to
it.
see your reaction to me feeling comfortable, confident, putting on a show, right? Like it goes back to our dynamic 100%. I like to put on a show for you.
Well,
whether
you know
that's
what?
in a club or in a photo shoot.
That is such a good point. And you brought it up right in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're very sneaky about this. you were like, I need to know who you are.
Yeah.
And then I can figure out how to do that. And I think you caught on to that almost immediately.
Pretty obvious.
I was going to say, I'm pretty good people read.
So some of our listeners have questions about things like body image and things like I don't really feel good about this part of me or that part of me. And they don't really want to do it. What do you have to say to those people?
Do it anyway. Why? Because we can pose you. Honestly, it's all about posing
Right.
and
Yeah.
representing your body in a light that makes you feel good. So if for some reason, and I know he was very open in the beginning, you're cool with nudes. Let's do it. Let's not hide your body.
Right.
I'm down. But if you don't love something, I want to talk about it so we can figure out posing that fits that piece.
Sure.
I don't want to cover it up completely, but
Right.
there are ways to pose you and angle your body so you can't see those things that you dislike about yourself. I feel like as a human population, we all have things that we dislike about ourselves. And there are ways around that. So do it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't let those things hold you back. We can dress you in a way that covers those. I have people come in big t-shirts with their panties, big sweaters in their panties. If you don't like your belly, you don't like this, you don't like that. Bodysuits are great for stuff like that too. We can cover up what you don't like, or we can just pose you.
Right.
I help shop a lot. It's like a whole language of love for me now. I have it down to a science on, okay, she hates this or he hates that about himself. We can buy this, 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 and this.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there's also something to be said too for gently encouraging those people to embrace some of those things too.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
You have to love yourself, right?
Right.
Like that is the whole form of this for me is self-love.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it does take a fair amount of courage for a lot of people to come into a place like this.
I've had people come in almost throw up.
Really? Yeah.
Do you ever find people that come in and need a couple drinks?
Yes. Yeah.
Take
or
a
we've
shot?
had to hug it out. When I did the men's calendar for the lifestyle group, the one came in and he was like, I'm really nervous. And I was like, come here. And I gave him a titty hug because it's a safe place to do that, right?
Yeah.
And we took a few deep breaths. You know, the social worker popped out a little. We had to take some deep breaths and some woo-saw and we were good. Yeah. But yeah, I've had some people smoke themselves into a frenzy of calm, calm when they get here and almost throw up or need a shot or all the things. And you know what? It helps to know about those things ahead of time because then I can help sort of combat that so it doesn't get to that. But I feel like my personality also helps stop that as soon as they come in the door.
Well, you don't make it an issue. That sounds kind of weird to
but
kind
I
of
don't
say.
want it to draw attention to it.
Right. You're just kind of like, this might as well have been a family shoot.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of just the way you approach it, the way you're like, okay, now do this and do that. But you just make it very natural and very comfortable.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, the idea that I'm going to pose naked in front of a camera is
wow,
when I feel like I feel like it's like jumping in a pool, right? You know, it's cold when you first start, but after that, you don't even notice it.
Sometimes I throw away the first like 10 to 15 shoot images.
Yeah.
Throw them in the trash.
Yeah.
Because by the time that 15th image rolls in, they're just like,
it's a very different picture.
Yeah, here we are. And I'm like, okay, well, those first like 6, 7, 8, whoop. Let's redo that one in a little bit, but we won't make it obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like I do like tricks like that when people are so nervous to the point where they're nauseous or I can see their lips quivering. Like it's rare. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. A lot of my clientele is lifestyle related and they're very comfortable with their.
Well, that piece is gone. Right?
Yeah. They're very comfortable.
Yeah. So then it's like, which anal hook am I going to use today?
No, right? For real. Winging their helicopter strap on.
Which toy am I going to use today?
I think I'll bring the pink one.
Okay, so that brings us to one of our audience questions for today. And actually, that's a perfect segue to it is there anybody that you can't work with or styles or things that you like? What are your boundaries as far as being a photographer in this space?
I have one boundary. Don't ask me to get in your photos.
Okay.
I don't.
No selfies.
Like don't ask me to pose. Well, I wouldn't say that. I have posed for imagery purposes with lifestyle friends, vloggers. It was a gift for the husband. The husband took the photo. Totally fine. Don't ask me to participate, I should say.
Okay.
In the act.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will never. It's a complete boundary cross for me.
Sure.
And I will not trade services for a blowjob. Because I have been asked.
Have you been asked for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been asked for some weird things along the line. And it may have been a joke, but like I will never cross the line sexually during the job.
Well, that's a professional thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, despite the fact that you are lifestyle friendly and,
you want to talk about
sexually open and all of these things, like you are in that moment, you are a professional. And
let's talk about it when we leave here. Sure. We will not do it during.
Yeah. That seems fair.
For sure.
Professional boundaries are a thing.
Yeah.
What are some of the weirdest shoots you've done?
That anal hook shoot was pretty spicy for me. I hadn't actually thought I wanted one until that day. And then I went home and bought one because it was not for me. That's a whole nother topic. We'll get there.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about it.
He's like, here we go.
I kind of get the idea of an anal hook. Like it's just a curved piece of metal.
I'm going to pull up a photo so you can see it.
Okay. And you hook this thing, right?
It's like a butt plug.
Yeah. Okay. But now you've got a big curved metal hook coming out of your butt.
But it's not sharp, I assume.
No,
it's dulled, right? I mean,
there's barbs on it, like a tuna
I mean,
fish.
listen.
I mean, there probably is one that looks like that.
I have no doubt in my mind.
So, yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
okay.
So, but what do you do? Do you like?
This is wish we had like the.
Now we need to be doing video podcast.
Right? Like.
Okay.
So,
So
like
for those of us who can't
Okay.
see it, she just got up on her knees and put her hands behind her back,
and put her ass in the air.
and it was honestly pretty hot. But okay, I get it. So like you tie your hands to it.
Yes. You can tie your hands to it or hook it to a chest harness, a male chest harness.
Okay.
Okay.
So you've seen those. They
Okay.
have the hooks on the back.
Yeah. Okay.
So like a carabiner hook.
Oh. Okay.
Your mind is racing right now.
Well,
That hamster is gonna just die.
He needs a beer. The hamster needs a beer to refresh.
The hamster's just gonna mentally explode.
Do you always do shoots in a professional studio like this one, or do you sometimes do them at people's homes? How do you do it?
I have never been to a home.
Okay.
Because I never know what's the background going to look like.
Safety, man. I get it.
Also that. Hotel rooms, fine. Airbnbs, also fine. I've done those at events for people. But yes, I err on the side of I know I can control lights here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you willing to travel?
Yeah, absolutely. Car will go.
Okay. All of your links are going to be in our show notes today.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to try to get in touch and maybe bring you to Vegas.
I've never been to Vegas.
Really?
Never.
It's like Sin City, right?
On the way.
So you're a lifestyler also.
Yes.
What's your lifestyle experience been like?
So were you a photographer first or in the lifestyle first?
Oh, yeah.
What fed what?
So I have been doing photography forever.
Right.
So since high school, I would say that I kind of had that on the back burner for a while until I don't think I shot my first boudoir until like 2017.
Okay.
We started in lifestyle 2018.
Okay.
So
Okay.
There was
so
like
did
a
it kind of
slight crossover
yeah.
where it just sort of exploded after I.
Well, I could imagine like people that seek out boudoir photos are more likely to be open sexually.
Correct.
I mean, not always, I guess. I guess it depends on the type of photos they're looking for.
Yeah.
But certain types of people and certain
There's
types
been
of
a crossover.
photos. Yeah.
So to
I
speak.
mean, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We started out very like toe in. We're going to just use the apps.
Yeah.
Which are meh for me.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were looking for. We made a fuck it list.
Okay. What's a fuck it list?
Okay. So we were just like, well, what kind of fun things do we want to do?
Yeah.
And then we just threw them on a list.
Okay.
And like threesome was at the top of the list. So obviously that's easy.
Male, female.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously that's super easy to do.
Yeah. But it was with a bi male.
No.
Oh, just
we didn't start that way.
Okay.
No, we did not start that way. That came into play like ages later.
Okay.
Yeah. So more recently, I would say within the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been like.
It's very open. Both of you sexually.
Yeah, very much so. I was very closed off, raised Catholic. Sex was bad. We didn't talk about it. Like,
So, okay. So how did you get from there to lifestyle anal hook boudoir?
I mean, that's a fair question.
I mean, it's kind of a leap.
So my husband's very just like, whatever. What do you want to do? I'll do it. And I'm always like, okay, but here's my idea. And he's like, all right, I'm in. And I'm like, no, you have to tell me no sometime.
So you were always curious. You kind of wanted to explore.
Yeah. He definitely more so experienced than I was.
Okay.
But like, I never had that experience ever.
Okay.
It was just what I had in high school. Like, and then I met him.
Yeah.
After a really shitty breakup.
Uh-huh.
And our connection is freaking scary. Fire.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like probably shacked up for months and never left the apartment.
Yeah.
Type of situation. He was a one night stand right after a shitty breakup.
Like clearly ended up being way more.
Oops. He found me on MySpace like.
Oh,
on Monday.
MySpace.
After the camping trip that we went on, that we hooked up on. And it just sort of exploded from there. So yeah.
Okay.
Very much exploring all the things.
And he had lifestyle experience before.
Nope. Just was a hoe.
Just was a hoe.
I love you.
Listen, that's all right. We don't judge here.
No, it's fine. Absolutely fine.
You guys decided you were going to try and do a threesome.
Yep.
And you did it.
Did it.
And how'd it go?
Great. I learned some things about me that I never really learned what I like.
Right.
That was like the first whoa for me. Like I need to be able to communicate better and say, I don't like that because not everybody likes to be fucked the same way. Right. You learn some things about yourself.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
So absolutely.
We've talked about that in some of our stuff.
It has opened a whole new, like who I am and what I like and what I want for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Same. It took a minute for him. He's kind of the quiet one.
Okay.
And then he was finally like, okay, well, can you put your finger in my butt? And I was like, okay.
So you return the favor. I'll try anything. Sure.
Like, right. Okay. Here we go. So rabbit holes, guys, honestly.
Rabbit hole is really a good choice of words.
For real.
So what would you say your guys' dynamic is now?
I'm obviously the the dominant one.
Uh-huh.
More to speak. He is very much an introvert with anxiety, which is fine. But we function with that sort of role reversal.
Okay.
A little bit. Like I am more of the alpha in our sexual relationship, not in a full dom situation. I could function that way with somebody else. Mm-hmm. But he is not 100% down with that. We will dabble. I will toe the line with certain things. We definitely function with the role reversal.
Okay. And you said only recently did he discover kind of his bi side.
Yeah. It was like a taboo that we don't talk about. But we don't talk about Bruno, to those of you that have children.
Right.
It took a minute for him to say, I'd like to try these things. And I was like, fuck it. Go get you a man.
Well, and it's funny, like even though, and it's interesting you say that because I feel like there's some relatability there. We're incredibly close. Like we have a great connection. We're very, obviously in a very trustful relationship and all the things, but he was kind of nervous to share some of the things.
He was afraid of how I would feel.
Well, right.
Yes.
And so you're kind of echoing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, despite the fact that we've been together forever and the fact that we've had very open conversations about a lot of things, all of a sudden that one is much more, I don't know if I want to go there.
Well, unfortunately, the lifestyle has a very large red flag taboo on men who are bi.
Right.
It's assumed the woman should be or is.
Right.
And men should not be, which is icky. But like, yeah.
I think that's my biggest gripe about the whole thing is, we always tout with the lifestyle about how inclusive it is and how open-minded it is and all of this and that. But there's this great big, well, yeah, but.
There's always that big but.
Yeah.
Like the bold but, right? Yeah.
And although I have heard now from other people since we did our episode on that they kind of feel like things are opening up a little bit.
I can agree. I feel like I've been more loud and proud about it in the last year and a half. And I feel like I have a lot of people that reach out like under the radar to like, hey, me too. But we can't say it out loud because I'm not there yet. Yeah. And I'm always like, we don't have to put a label on it. Yeah. You don't have to call it that. Yeah. So I think the podcast before this, last one you just released, we talked about sexually bi or like romantically bi.
Right.
Okay. Right. So he errs on the side of sexually.
Right.
We're not going to have a relationship with a man. And like, how do you put a label on that without scaring somebody? Right. But also, I just want to be safe in a threesome where it's okay to touch the other person's dick when it falls out of me. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Sorry, that's graphic.
No,
but
but that's 100%
But that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
And honestly, for me, it's when we did that, that was the best part about it.
Right.
Was this idea that
everything
like
flows.
Everybody can just do everything. And even if like the two guys don't necessarily play together, I don't have to worry about, is he going to like leap to the wall
when I touch his nuts
when I
accidentally.
Yeah, when I get my knee all up in his grundle because I'm going for Mrs. Sno's ass. It's like
right. No, but it's not wrong.
But I think one of the hottest things of that experience for us is when you put him in me.
Okay, great. Same.
That was pretty hot. Yeah. Like that was even hot for me.
That's one of my favorite things. Like, I need a lending hand, please. Like, just guide that a little bit.
And I mean, yeah, that was pretty hot.
It was pretty hot.
Yeah.
But, so a lot of our listener base is in the UK. And over there, they've got a big website called Fab.
Okay.
And they have a phrase that I hear a lot called Fab Straight. And it really plays to this. They joke, well, yeah, he's Fab Straight, which means he's bi. He just doesn't want to talk about it. And I think the impression I get is that is like actually really common.
Nail on the head.
But we're still not there yet where people can be open about it.
Well, no, it's still so like we have an experience. We'll call him Steve. He's asked his name to be Steve.
Hello, Steve.
We'll call him Steve. We don't talk about Bruno with Steve. It's a funny phrase that I always say. Yeah. But like, okay, Matt's in the sex swing. I'm like, what's going to happen now?
Right.
And he's like, I'm just going to fuck him in the ass. And I was like, all right.
Right.
But hold on. So I lay on my back and I put my feet up and boost Matt's ass so they can get the right angle.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on. I need to collect myself right here. This is really hot.
Yeah.
And there's a mirror in front of me.
Yeah.
So my husband can't see it, but Steve can.
Right.
I'm able to touch myself and he could see it in the mirror.
Right.
And I can see all of it happening, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Why are not all experiences like this?
Well,
because everybody's so comfortable, right? We can touch all the things.
That's just it. Everybody's having fun.
And I am so, I didn't realize this until we had this experience. Like seeing him be sexual in that way, like my initial thought to it was like, I don't know if I would like seeing that because in my mind it was with another woman.
Sure.
Right. But the reality is it didn't really matter whether it was a woman or a man. In some ways, it's hotter with a guy.
It's always hotter for me.
That, but I always feel like, not that I don't want to see him with another woman, but I am not as turned on when I see you with another woman as when I see you with.
Same.
Like I can't.
I feel like I'm like pimping him out. Like, hey.
I'm sure he's okay with that. I'm sure Steve is as well.
Steve's probably fine. I'm like, hey, I found this person.
He may or may not have a penis.
But definitely does.
They saw your dick and they're down. And I said, are you? He's like, maybe. Tell me more.
You're such a good wife.
I try, but then I feel like I'm pimping him out. And then I'm like,
I mean, it's a mutual thing. It's not like he's not getting anything out of that.
No, he's pretty fine.
Yeah, he's okay with it. He's okay with Steve.
He's good with Steve. Yeah.
And other Steves.
All the Steves.
All the Steves.
So, but that's quite an evolution though, right? Because when you guys started into the lifestyle, your goal was to have a threesome.
Yep.
And then when you did that, was it kind of like, well, you said you had a list. So like you wanted to go down the list.
Yeah, we did like couple swaps and those are hard. Like finding 4 people to jive is difficult.
Yeah.
We did it. We did it for a while. It just all the way down the list we went. I got to dabble with like the BDSM side of things that I didn't know I enjoyed. But guess what? I'm a very dominant person and it makes total sense that I absolutely loved all of that, but also sensual. So not your stereotypical. I had to go do some like self-evaluation and reading, like, why do I like this? What pieces of it do I like? Because I'm not into it for the pain part of it, but I don't know. It was a whole experience for me, for myself. And then when we started dabbling in like, oh, will you put your finger in my butt? Next thing we know, we have strap-ons and Steves.
And swings and you're helping angles.
Yeah. And the anal hook that still hasn't been used. I did buy it. It's one of those things.
Is
you
it
have to
for
be in
you
the
or
mood.
for him or
Him,
both?
not me.
Okay.
It's not for me.
Okay.
I've tried. It's
not your jam?
just not my jam.
Okay.
But like it has to be a mood.
Yeah.
For him, and the mood's not there yet. It's just chilling in the drawer. I opened up the tank top drawer and I was like, hey.
Hey.
Let's close that drawer. We're not here today.
We're not there yet.
Not today, but maybe tomorrow. You never know. But like, if it makes him feel good, probably the best orgasm I've ever watched in my whole life. I think that's probably why I like it so much.
It is hot.
You hit the spot, it's like a volcanic eruption, right?
It is so hot to watch Mr. Sno come. It's so hot. It's so hot to watch any man come, but especially when I'm involved. But
correct.
But you like expressive,
same,
very much
expressive orgasms.
Yes.
I do too. So,
and I make the sound of the Yeti and like a lot of weird faces. Like it's just kind of
that should be the next photo shoot, right?
I have a vision.
It's not actually that bad, but I mean, it's one of those things that like sometimes afterwards I'm like, oh shit,
that's a lot of.
I bet that was really ugly.
No, it was incredibly hot.
I'm like, I absolutely don't think I have ever seen an ugly one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like my brain is like
rolling through the Rolodex.
Rolodexing the orgasms.
Steve's.
All the Steves.
Steve 1.
There was Steve
2.
A and Steve B and Steve C.
Like none of them have been bad.
No. I will say, I agree. Like the more the expressive, the better.
Agree.
And some of the people that we have played with, I'm like,
Silence?
if I have to like question whether or not you.
No, I agree
I'm
with-
kind of like,
No.
and then it's hard not to take that personally. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Matt gets like the giggles because I'll be like I'm like, we aren't leaving here until this man comes. And he'll giggle and he'll watch me and he'll look the other person in the eye.
He's like, listen, man, just fake it. Like, just
She'll know, don't do that. He's like, she's coming in hot. She's getting it. You're going to have to stay there until she
Just till she gets it. That's so much pressure. You don't even know.
I'm broken.
Like I know
can't help it.
I know that like sounds like something you could do, but that gives me anxiety. Like we're not there. Oh, we're not there.
It's on the edge. I can't do it. Bring it back. Yeah, no.
So you have a family and life and all these things too, just like us. And you made a comment early on. We were getting to know each other where you're like, sometimes I kind of feel like a fake swinger because
Yes.
I can't go to the club every other day and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that was a comment that like really resonated with me because that's a lot that matches a lot how we feel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, going back to the whole podcast being called Scheduling Sin, you know,
love
like
it.
that's like legit
Yeah.
the reason. So my question to you is, we're starting to figure out that for us, individual meetups are very, very time consuming. and they often don't work out because you spend a ton of time interacting with like one person or a couple, and then maybe it kind of fizzles out, or the communication's not good, or no one can ever match up their schedules, and it's just maddening. So my question to you is like, what works for you guys? Do you guys do groups or clubs, or what do you do?
So what started working for us is we met a group of friends, and they do bar takeovers like once a month.
Yeah, okay.
Where there's a mass amount of people. We're talking 50 to 100 people.
Oh, wow.
Or more in the local area. We'll go in and there's a live band, there's some sort of event, whatever it may be. Sometimes they throw a prom. That's coming up soon, so we're super excited. But that's the best way to get out and mingle with a lot of people. And then when we go home, we're like, oh, did we like so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so? And then I've got to work on my game to be a little bit more assertive because I've been sucking at that. But like you reach out to that person, or that person reaches out to you individually, whatever. But I feel like that has worked best for us over the last like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
To go to the larger group events where there's no pressure.
Right. It's that pressure piece. Yep.
Yes. I struggle going to the clubs because I need that little tiny bit of a connection with whomever it is. And same, like we like to make them our friends. And in the long run, it works out better because everybody's comfortable and everybody's, like I said, we're besties today. Like in the end, that's sort of how it works best for us, is that everybody's confident and comfortable in that lifestyle relationship. And then
well, it doesn't
repeat.
Right. But I also think it's making friends does not necessarily mean that you would play with them, but you have people to talk to. You have people to say, hey, have you heard about this event?
Yes.
Or people to go with you.
Yes.
Because I think that social piece kind of helps break some of that.
Right.
Like worry or anxiety or nervousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then if there are events, say at the clubs, then you can take your friends.
Yeah.
And you aren't necessarily stuck to hanging out with them, but there's a buffer if you need a buffer.
Like even if you guys just sit in the corner and talk shit about everybody and then leave, like at least you had a good time.
Right. Everybody was vibing and having a good night. Like there's loud music. We're not at home. There's no children. Like it's adult conversation, which I guess you guys get. Like we lack that sometimes, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like that's my biggest call. I think
that's part of one reason why we love this podcast so much. Like it's a carved out, dedicated, intentional time for us to be
connected
adults, and have adult conversations.
Which
absolutely
does not happen.
No,
as a parent ever.
How did you find out about these meetups?
We had met them at the club.
Okay.
And so the next thing I know, somebody was like, hey, so-and-so started a page. I was like, oh, I know them. But we haven't been out because I just had a baby. It was a year later, right? So I'm like, well, maybe we should get out now. It's about time we can get out.
Yeah.
Let's go. So we went to their first event and it was just insanity. Like there were so many people I didn't even know what to do, but we had the best time. And it was just nice to be in a like-minded environment without pressure.
Yeah.
As a toe back in, right?
Right.
Not sure where we were headed in our journey. Like big picture, postpartum is hard, right?
Absolutely.
So it was
on so many levels. Sexually, physically, mentally, all of the things.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So like it took a minute to like get your mojo back, right?
Yeah.
To feel better again.
Right.
And I think just being around like-minded people, just icing on the cake.
Right.
Yeah.
That postpartum thing, when you talk about that, that's really, it's very real because it's, especially when you're a first time parent, because that's like such a role.
Yep.
Like you are now a mother, you're now a father.
Yep.
And so that is very much because you have this tiny human that depends on you 100% of the time. Your role, and I think this is what, the strain on any marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like because your role is no longer husband and wife.
It's mom and dad.
It's now mom and dad. Yeah. And that understandably takes over.
And that's a headspace.
It's a headspace.
It is a battle.
Yes.
It's a headspace.
So to come back from that and reclaim husband and wife role, it's hard. Even just independent woman or independent man, right?
Yes.
Like
being I
an individual
shower today.
Right, just being an individual, like not good job, right?
You get me. Like,
so it's
gosh almighty, I combed my hair, I left the house with nothing hanging on my leg.
Right. I put on clothes that are not like, covered in all kinds of things.
Yes.
Like 100%.
Crumbs.
Yes.
Banana goop.
The endless crumbs.
Yes. So you get stuck in that sometimes too.
Yes.
And it still happens because toddlerhood is rough.
Sure.
So like I will joke to people that I'll tell my dad to come like an hour early And I'll go sit. I told him, I said, the last time you sent me to get my hair done, I sat in the parking lot at Kroger and ate Twizzlers and drank Diet Coke.
And it was fucking glorious.
It's exactly what I said. And you know what he said to me? He looked right at me. He said, how did you not shit your pants? And I said,
that's a different question. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, new podcast. I said, I don't know, but it was lovely.
Yeah.
Not a single soul asked for mommy.
Yeah. I totally feel that. I totally feel that.
So,
and I feel that a lot because I'm often a solo parent because of, Mr. Snow's job. He's gone, he travels a lot. So it's heavy. I feel that. I feel that.
So being in that sexual space is a headspace. And sometimes I'm like, I'm not feeling it today.
Right.
I'll blow you.
Right.
I'm not down to get sexy right now.
Right.
But can I shower by myself real quick?
Can you not need me or want me for
Don't even open that bathroom door.
No. Wow, you feel seen, don't you?
It's real life, though.
I feel like I could just head for the car.
Look, he's holding the scissors. This is not safe. Put that
down. I'm armed.
But I think the headspace of it is a huge piece of it because when you're in parent mode, and this is true for, I'm sure, dads too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like when you're in parent mode and then, you come home and you're like, hey, baby, I'm like, okay, I got to do laundry. I got to do this. Yes. I got to make sure this happens. I got to go to the grocery store. Like you're going through the list. I can't
think of anything while you're touching me,
I'm going to need you to not touch me.
No, but I feel like those social events are like the gateway drug to oh, this is exciting again.
Drug.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but for real.
Right.
Sometimes they reignite, not that we don't have great sex by ourselves, but to go back in, it's it's a chore. Shopping, right? It's like shopping for a person, right? On Thursday at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And we're going to meet this person.
Yeah.
So those big events really help.
What do you look for? So you go to a bar and you know that, well, how do you know, right? Because it's still a public bar.
Absolutely.
And
some of the people there may or may not be lifestyle people.
Well, and usually our group flocks together and you can tell them pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We tend to take over places.
There are pineapples everywhere.
Fucking everywhere. Yeah.
We tend to take over places that are privy to that too.
Yeah, sure.
Where there's safe zones.
So you go and there's all these other people in a bar. And this is something I'm not good at. I'm not good at I'm not good at mingling. I'm not really good at picking somebody up in a bar.
I could talk to a pop can. So that's probably not a problem. In fact, I pick up people I don't mean to pick up. So come hang out.
Okay.
I will help you.
It's like an occupational hazard.
No, it is. It absolutely. I'll be like, Matthew, I did not mean to do that, but I just brought home 6 people. He's like, no, none of them. I'm like, I
know. So what are you looking for when you go to these things? When you meet, 2 people that you haven't talked to before, what are you looking for?
Energy match 100%.
Yeah.
Can you match the energy? And I say that as a comparison, unfortunately, but that's who I am. Mm-hmm. I want you to match my energy because if you can't handle my BDE, so to speak, we are not going to get along.
Yeah.
Matt is very chill, laid back. He's like, if I can handle me, right? If he can handle me,
right.
he can handle the same
sure.
match.
Sure.
But that matters. Mm-hmm. Can you joke? Can you be sarcastic? Do you have the same values in this lifestyle that we do?
Yeah.
I'm very open about who we are and very open about what we look for.
Mm-hmm.
People know it loud and clear before they probably even meet me because I have such a big mouth.
Do you have canned questions?
No.
Okay.
I'm a conversation roller. Just let it kind of flow.
Uh-huh.
I want it to be comfortable and natural.
Well, it's authenticity, right? What you see is what you get. There's no bullshit.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I really appreciate about this lifestyle for the most part. People are pretty this is what it is. This is and if this is not what you're into, cool. We can be friends. And
that's it.
We can have like-minded conversations, but at the end of the day,
you're not my people.
You're not my people. And but it's just it is an amazing environment and just this natural thing. It's crazy. I mean, there are no other places that you could go or groups of people that you can go into and
open.
Be that open and just be that real and it be okay. And everybody's like, that's not my thing, but cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we spend all of our day in vanilla life wearing various masks.
Sure.
We go to work and we have to wear business casual and we have to send emails and use certain language and corporate buzzwords and all this other bullshit.
No, but for real.
And it's all masks, you know, whether you're sitting in the office or whether you're, you know, wherever you are. But this lifestyle is one of the few places where you kind of don't have to wear the mask.
Yes. It takes a minute for you to get there though. Initially.
Yeah.
I was like more guarded about who we were. And then again, we've been together 15 years. I don't think I ever said that. Once we finally reached the point of, oops, I had a dick in my ass. Like all things are out there. Yeah, I know. How'd that happen? Weird. Like once we reached that point, honestly, it was just like, I don't want to wear the mask anymore. Right. I'm just going to own this. And if you don't like it, you're going to either run away from me screaming or you're going to hop in my DMs.
Sure.
Like, right. And so I live it loud and clear now, like that piece of it. I don't out myself to the whole planet, but like within the lifestyle, the people that know us know who we are and what we look for.
Well, there's also that automatic level of safety.
Yes.
For lack of better, I don't know how else to describe that. Like there's kind of this automatic, you're okay doing whatever you do and being who you are. And
I feel like there's always an assumption too, unfortunately, that like our relationship is broken when we tell people that aren't within, and there are only a few people that know about it that are outside of my life. And the judgment was immediately, what's wrong with you guys?
Right.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that as a question.
Which, because the irony of that is actually you're a lot closer than most people are.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like that man knows things that terrifying. Right?
Yeah.
Well, you've exposed yourself in a way that most people never do, even with their spouse.
Correct.
So it is funny, like you look at that and the vanilla world looks at it as like, well, you guys must not be doing well if you need other people.
Right. And certainly there are people like that. It does happen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, of course there are unhealthy relationships in the lifestyle. Absolutely.
Weird, right?
Because they're humans, right? Like,
right.
That doesn't matter.
No.
But there are a lot of unhealthy vanilla people. Yeah, absolutely.
Like my one friend said, oh, I really like to try to be handcuffed. So I bought her like a handcuff kit because that's who I am as a friend.
That's a good friend.
I know. And I got her the good one too. Like the one that goes under the bed. Like that. Yeah. Anyway. And she was like, I don't think he's going to do it. And I was like, fuck it. I'm come over and do it and show him how. Like, what do you mean you don't think he's going to do it? It blew my mind, right? I guess not everybody's that open though, right?
We talk about
not only are you good for photography, but you're good for coming over and showing people how to use
I got
fun
your demo.
toys and accessories.
I got you.
It's good to know.
Yeah. I'm starting to regret that we live so far away. Hey, Bridget, I need you to come over. We're going to do some weird shit. You can't ask about it. I'll see you in 20 minutes.
And you'd be like, okay.
I'm probably already in the car. Hey guys, I'm going to leave my kid with the dog. It's fine. That's right.
It's fine.
So let me ask you this. So you've been in the lifestyle for quite a while, and we were having this conversation just silly when we started this a year ago. Our first podcast aired in April of 23. At that time, we said, we're newbies. When are you not newbies anymore?
That's a good question. Because I feel like because we took a break after having a baby,
right?
I felt new again.
Yeah.
But like, what is each person consider? That's a good question. What does each person like consider?
Yeah, like
and
when are you not
as someone who's been in the lifestyle for a good number of years, if you say if someone comes up to you and says we're new to this,
I'd say a couple months, 6 months, 8 a year. I would say you're seasoned.
I feel like once you
like well seasoned. Like you've obviously been out and about having experiences, right? Like I feel like a year is a good number as long as you're actively like working it.
I like to actively work it.
See, she's like done.
When you reach the point where it's like, oh, there's a dick in my ass. I feel like that's the moment.
That was like pretty far in though.
The dick?
It was pretty far in. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Do you have Steve's number?
Steve around.
I can call him real quick.
Have you had any setbacks in the lifestyle?
There communication malfunctions. I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it has made me try to be a better communicator because sometimes I can be an explosive, angry person. Like, quick to just like, whoa. And it's like, no, we need to like sit down and hash this out. Not very many.
Okay.
It's very rare. At this point, we will literally lay it out. What about this person? What about that person? No, I didn't like this. Maybe we need to hang out with them more to know because you don't only know enough to like be dangerous, sort of. You don't know them well enough. You want to make sure that it's a good fit. I think we've gotten more choosy as we have seasoned, right?
I like that phrase.
Yeah. As we've seasoned our way through this, about what we're doing and who we're doing it with.
Yeah.
Not just pick them to pick them. Because at first there was, in that very first year, there were some times where it's like, we did these things. And then I was like, hard no, I will never do that again because it was an awful experience. It was uncomfortable for me.
Well, and then I think especially when you're starting, there's almost like this pressure to do it.
That's exactly where our first miscommunication was. You got to experience the threesome, but I just wanted to do a couple swap. And I was like, bro, those two are not it for me.
Yeah.
Like not any attraction whatsoever, but fuck it. They're real into us. So let's just go.
Well, and we're here and we have a sitter.
Yes, exactly.
Like, because, next 3 weeks from next Friday,
at midnight, there might be. So it was like, okay, we're here. And I was like, absolutely no.
So one of the things that we just talked about in one of our latest episodes is about goals. And one of the things I talked about was like this freedom to say no.
Yes.
Like the ability and like the comfort, like being comfortable with saying no. And I've not done anything that I've regretted.
Sure. No, same.
But again, it's also just been like, I've just kind of done all the things because I've just done all the things.
Right.
And to be more intentional.
That's the exact word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is something that I feel like is something I want to be a little bit more aware of and cognizant of.
Yes, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, all this stuff's out here and all these people are after
me.
Sticks
are around and they want to touch me.
Exactly. That's it. All these people are lined up for miles.
There's all this. Steve is there.
All these fucking Steves.
Yeah, but
he just doesn't even know what to say.
No, I get that.
He's like, I am so like.
Eat Steve.
I'm just sitting here wondering if there's going to be a bunch of Steves at the club tonight.
It is Friday. They do allow single males on Friday.
A bunch of Steves. Shit. It is kind of your jam.
It's kind of your jam too.
Please fuck on the big bed. Please.
We're just going to send you a message that says big bed check mark.
Yes. And I'll be like, yes, bitch. It's like on the bucket list, but it's a whole room of beds with mirrors and windows.
So you go to a club, you walk up to a couple or a person or couple that you're kind of attracted to or interested in. What's your go-to?
What's your move?
What's your move? Like, what's your?
Yeah.
And I get.
He asked because he needs tips.
I mean, we're going later, but I'm gonna like write it on the inside of my thigh. But like the
cheat.
Hold on. What would Bridget say? But we get asked this question like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous, I'm new, I'm scared, I'm terrified. How do I just not sit in the corner and be scared?
Going with a group of people is very helpful because if somebody is interested in somebody else, we're usually like, hey, I want that one over there. And they're like, me too. And I'm like, well, me first. Or the other way around. I'm like, okay.
So then it just becomes a competition.
No, we'll sometimes take them all. It's fine. But anyways, I don't know that I have ever gone to the club and just met somebody randomly there. Yeah. It's more of I've taken a group of people and we've met people before or you know people. But your go-to move? I don't know. I usually start with dancing. That's like the gateway drug, right?
Okay, yeah.
To like get them out on the dance floor, whomever it is, the woman, the man, whoever, and just sort of...
Well, it just makes it more fun.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Kind of feel the vibe and the energy. And if it's good, then like have some conversation like outside. That's why I said the patio when we were shooting.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, it's freezing and you will shiver to death if you go out there right now.
Right.
But like sometimes the patio is more quiet where you can have a conversation and understand their boundaries, who they are, what they're looking for. And if it matches up, cool. The next line is pretty much, do you want to fuck? And like, I'm not that bold. I want to be that bold. It's a goal.
So in the year of 2020.
Okay. Yes. Always. Yes.
This is actually, I've heard that move several times now, but the one that she always goes for that. Do you want to go somewhere and see my tits?
Do you want to see my tits?
I mean, that's a valid question. Everybody loves titties.
Everybody loves titties.
And it works because I'm always kind of like, well, if he doesn't, I do.
Right. It's like,
the titties will be seen.
Have you met a guy have you met a Steve that says no to titties?
I mean, to be fair, are they saying no to titties or are they saying no to me?
Well, right.
So we've run into neither of those.
Okay, then it's fine. carry on. Your tactic seems to work. That's also, I'm going to have to write that on the inside of my thigh.
We get this question a lot. Like, I think people that are new, we've got a few people in our Discord that are, they joke that they're living vicariously through us because they don't have a club nearby. They don't have options nearby for them to just run out and go do this kind of thing. And sometimes they ask like, oh my gosh, if we do make it to a club, because they're not going to get to go with a bunch of friends because they don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the hardest time. You got to go to a club kind of by yourself.
Yep.
And hope for the best.
Come to Columbus.
Come to Columbus.
And come in Columbus.
Multiple times.
Yeah, right.
It's tough for us. I will never forget the DJ at the club we went to the first time. We went on newbie night, and it was intentional that we went on newbie night. And I will never forget him saying, talk to people. Just because you talk to them doesn't mean you have to fuck them.
Yeah, I mean,
I really like that, DJ.
Yeah,
that's a good message.
Right.
It's reasonable advice.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And some other people told us things like, if you just sit here, no one's going to come talk to you.
Right.
They absolutely won't, because they want to see your energy in action, right?
Right.
I feel like my selling point is my obnoxiousness, right?
Well, but I think you need to find a group of people or a person who is more of an extrovert.
Yes.
That is comfortable
being the wingman.
kind of going out there and kind of being silly or just breaking the ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need an icebreaker friend.
Yeah.
I have one.
And the dance, right? So do you like the sprinkler, the funky chicken?
All that
what do you
shit.
do?
Usually I wait until there's a line dance and then we go out and we learn it. And then you wait for the more sensual shit. Then
there you have it,
down.
folks. You heard it here first. Line dancing, then sensual shit.
And then asking, do you want to see my tits?
Do you want to see my tits?
Do you want to see my?
And if you ever need a line, come check my thigh.
He's got you, wingman.
You just wrap that up in a nice little bow for us.
Yeah, sure did.
Well, Bridget, thank you so much for having us. This was so fun.
This was such an amazing time. And
Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm so gracious.
And Mr. Sno has posted a few teaser shots on our Discord.
Yep.
And I don't know what your typical turnaround time is, but I know that people will be anxiously waiting to see them.
Couple weeks, maybe less.
All right.
Yeah, so that'll be perfect because this episode's going to come out in a couple of weeks. Actually, like 2 weeks from today.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be perfect. So we'll
Okay.
try to have some of the available ones maybe up on our Discord and maybe even a few on Twitter.
Right. And I'm sure people are wondering, I did bring the official podcast panties, and we got some good shots of those.
They're lovely.
Yes.
A treat.
And I highly recommend coming to see Bridget.
Absolutely.
At B. Yates Photography in Columbus.
Absolutely.
The links will be in the show notes. We'll put them also on Twitter. And if you need more help than that, just reach out to us and we will connect you with Bridget.
Absolutely.
And you will be happy that you came.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
On to the next adventure.
I'm already getting my Sharpie ready for my thigh.
Ooh, get excited. We want to hear from you. Email us at snomilf@yahoo.com. That's SNOMILF@yahoo.com. You can also join us on our Discord and have some fun interactive conversations with us. The link is in the show notes. Talk to you soon.